This die is a linear stretch die. So it hits in a chopping motion when we go to make a transmission tunnel and we want to flare the top of it out. This is what we would do. Same thing over in that machine. This is just much larger. So if we're going to move 16 gauge transmission tunnel in a really large area, this is your guy. If you're doing the lip on something small, that's your guy. We needed a smaller radius, and I'm limited. This machine's big, I'm limited in my dies. So as far as they don't go down as small as the smaller hammer. Big hammer, big dies, little hammer, little dies. Fenders are normally 612s and 24s, and then hoods, roofs, door panels are like 24, 36 as far as dies are concerned. So when we go to lower this down, there's a caution note that you have to lower it. We spin this. All right, we're gonna spin this here, and we want about 3/16 of an inch of gap. So when we take these dies out and we swap for something else, specifically the rubber die or the linear die, this distance changes. If you don't have anywhere between an 1/8, 3/16 or a 1/4 inch of gap in the down position, it won't hit because it's not throwing it. It'll touch it and you'll just wonder why you're not getting an as seen on TV result. So foot pedal operation works exactly the same as the bead roller and the TIG machine. You're in charge. So now, if you envision the lines on a dartboard, all right, they're wider at the outside edge, tighter on the inside edge. Shrinking works the same way. We're gonna do more work outside than inside. So just a little, okay? This allows a couple of things. One is this is gonna get hot. It's going to allow us to slide, you know, any lube, right? So turn this guy on. Okay, now what I'm going to do, this is the line where we want it to roll down. So I'm going to use the back of the die where it's rounded off to start to pull that down, but not at first. So one pass, and I'm trying to get to here and stop. And I'm basically just going to walk through. If you have a question, I'll explain it, but I'm just going to walk through once just to show you. It's not how, like if I was standing here by myself, I wouldn't do that exactly.
Can you try to skip on here like you would if you were shrinking this?
I'm going to, for the purposes of showing you, okay. I want to create a visual. So you'll notice I'm using the pedal. The front of the die is where the stretch or shrinking happens. The back of the die is where stretching happens. So as I'm coming out, I'm trying to stop right about there. I'm doing work from here to here, and then I'm letting off the pedal so that I'm not hitting it as I come back out.
Is it a gradual deal, or you're all the way off again?
I'll come all the way off. Yeah, because it's still in motion. Right. I just take the power off for kind of like TIG. You're coming off, but you didn't lose any heat. Right. You're just pushing it back down. So same pedal concept. So I'm going to come in now. Okay, now dartboard analogy. Now I've come in far, several passes. If you're repetitive in your parts, you count, like 12 or 18 or whatever, but we're just making a floor, not a replica part, right? So we're in charge is what I'm basically saying. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna come into the middle and shrink once, and then I'm gonna shrink the edge once, and that's my first rough end where you're gonna start to see it come around. If you do too much here, you lose this radius. So that's why I'm coming in all the way, but I need to shrink more here, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. If you go out to the end too soon or too much, you lose this line. And then the only way to get it back is to go in and replenish it again. So I don't know if one way is better than another, whether you start on this side or start on this side. What I know is if you curve this too much, you lose the ability to fit in the die. You remember we talked about the English wheel, how you pull down? I'm doing the exact same thing. Logic is just kind of following that shape. We want it to break over to a 90, and that's going to help us. I just need that, and you have to be right around there.